Welcome to The Other Side of the Page, a bookish podcast where we yap about the books we love
and the songs that give us main character energy.
We're here to sift through the chaos that is our TBR.
And to let you know why a book might just be your next favorite read.
I'm Britt, dramatic plot twist lover and champion for MMCs needing to be more pathetic and down bad.
And I'm Hannah, reader of at least 5 books at once and a detailed fantasy map enthusiast.
Every Wednesday, press play on a brand new bookish episode.
Stay up to date with the books we will be covering by following us on social media at othersideofthepagepod, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, hopefully Facebook again.
Hopefully.
This time.
I know. And don't forget to follow, rate, and review the podcast on your preferred platform, a shining 5 stars, because it helps us so much with visibility.
This week, we are discussing the domestic suspense novel Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell.
Ooh, we'll be talking about our song choices alongside the plot and chatting about our favorite moments. So grab an iced coffee
or iced chai
and let's turn the page together.
Dear reader, here's the synopsis of Don't Let Him In. He's the perfect man. It's the perfect lie. Nina Swan is intrigued when she received a condolence card from Nick Radcliffe, an old friend of her late husband, who is looking to connect after her husband's unexpected death. Nick is a man of substance and good taste. He has a smile that can melt the coldest heart and a knack for putting others at ease. But to Nina's adult daughter, Ash, Nick seems too slick, too polished, too good to be true. Without telling her mother, Ash begins digging into Nick's past. What she finds is more than unsettling. Martha is a florist living in a neighboring town with her infant daughter and her devoted husband, Alistair. But lately, Alistair has been traveling more and more frequently for work, disappearing for days at a time. When Martha questions him about his frequent absences, he always has a legitimate explanation, but Martha can't share the feeling that something isn't right. Nina, Martha, and Ash are on a collision course with a shocking truth that is far darker than anyone could have imagined. Oh, I guess, is that?
Yeah,
I guess that is part of it.
Yeah.
Nina, Martha, and Ash are on a collision course with a shocking truth that is far darker than anyone could have imagined. And all three are about to wish they had heeded the same warning. Don't let him in. But the past won't stay buried forever. And we think you should read this book if you want to see the downfall of men, like mysteries and interweaving storylines.
Yes, and you might want to avoid this book if any of the following are potentially triggering for you. Gaslighting, murder, stalking, mental illness, violence, sexual harassment, sexual content, and talks of suicide.
Let's talk about our songs.
Song choices. I feel like we kind of were in the same vein with this book.
Yeah.
And I think it could have been the age of our MMC.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, what did you bring this week?
I picked Easy Money by Billy Joel.
I brought Better Man by Pearl Jam.
Both fit the vibe of this book, for sure.
100%. So now we're heading into our Pages Turned and Bridges Burned section, which means we are going to be discussing this book cover to cover, which means spoilers are ahead. We're definitely going to be spoiling the, main central plot of the book pretty immediately. So if you have not read it and you don't want it spoiled for you, feel free to pause, read it, come on back. If you're just here for the vibes or if you've already read it, welcome on in. We're going to get started with our theme lyrics.
Yes. My theme lyric is, I've been working all my life, can't afford to wait. Let me call my wife so I can tell her I'll be late. And the song title itself, I feel like Nick looks at these women like, ooh, easy money. Like, all right, where are we going? Where are we going? Like, let me get this next, like my next target. Like, this is going to be easy. I want it easy, right?
Yeah.
But this line to me is also like taking it out of the song. Like I said, like finding his next target, but also how he's like balancing all these wives. Because, not like he's telling his current girl, right? Oh, I got to call my wife. But just that line is like, I got to call my wife and tell her I'll be late. Like, I got to make up these excuses as to why I'm not going to be there, just to keep all of his lies straight.
Yes. I picked, again, Better Man by Pearl Jam. And the line that I brought is, she lies and says she's in love with him, can't find a better man. And I think this song just kind of encompasses the late stage of abusive relationships and trying to leave, where she knows that something is incorrect. She can't prove it. She's been gaslit to all hell, but she also feels like she can't find someone else. Like, there's a lot of good that's clouding the bad things that keep stacking one on top of the other. And this happens with all of the women in this book. And so I feel like this song is the perfect embodiment of all of the mistreatment the women Nick, quote unquote, brought onto them and had them endure through their relationship ups and downs over however long they were together.
Yeah. So this book follows life of Nick, and just how he's a part of all these other lives. And like his character is immediately introduced, and I was like, I don't trust him. The
Mhm.
next man is introduced. I was like, I don't trust him either.
Yep.
Like something is there. And we find out like he is a master manipulator. Answer for everything, just prepared, right? Cons multiple women out of money, creating these sob stories and getting them excited about investments. And it's just wild. Have you ever, is there like somebody that comes to mind when you are reading this?
I feel like at his age, like it was hard to find the relation, but I definitely have seen patterns of behavior similar to this in people that I've encountered. Luckily, I have not encountered someone, at least that I'm aware of, knock on
Yeah,
fucking wood,
right?
that this has happened to, but I've come in contact with people like this. And as an aside, real quick, I don't know, I don't remember if I talked to you about this, but if you watch the Great British Baking Show, the only person I could think of is Paul Hollywood for Nick. I just could only think about Soggy Bottoms and like just that is who I pictured Nick is because they described him as like a very very attractive man for the age that he was
Mm-hmm.
and like very charming, very like flashy, and that's just kind of the
Yeah.
vibe that I got was like full Paul Hollywood. I don't think it helped that I did audiobook and these are British narrators. I think that that really sealed the deal for me. Anyway, what about you? Anyone as manipulative, self-centered? Have you run into that?
Probably. Like, I can't think of anyone immediately, but there's got to be people that I've encountered in my 30 something years of life.
I feel like it's just not on this grand of a scale. I feel like his
Yeah.
behaviors are like identifiable in smaller bits and pieces throughout life. But speaking of, bits and pieces, there are 7 identities of quote unquote Nick. And thank you so much to Ren Ryland Reviews for putting this together. We will link the guide in the show notes if you guys want to take a look at it for yourself. And we are going to go through the 7 different iterations of quote unquote Nick that we have. So, Nick Radcliffe, we first know him as Nick, who kindly reaches out to the Swan family after Patty's death.
Yes. Then we have Alistair Gray, but Nick is also married to Martha, a florist, and they have 2 young children together. And Martha just wonders why her husband keeps vanishing.
And then we have Jonathan Truscott, but wait, he's also Jonathan and was with a woman named Tara. She's missing, and her adult daughter hates Jonathan.
And we have Justin Warshaw, who also had a relationship with Laura Drummond.
Yep. And then we have Damien Law. Way back when he was married to Amanda, they had 2 sons together, but Damien vanishes and is presumed dead. And we see in some of these other relationships that he claims to have no children, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's out here procreating.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Andre, which this was like one of the most wild storylines, but also for like my Easy Money song
Yep.
right here.
Yep.
So when he goes by Andre, it's to engage in sex work for extra money. But really, just for this poor old lady. But hey,
Yep.
she's living her life. So
I know. So then we have Simon Smith, which is
you can take that. Yeah.
the basically the Russian nesting doll of all of his identities here, who is Nick, and he ends with Simon Smith, which we can infer is his birth name, perhaps.
Yes. So with this book, we had like POV switches, and like Nick's was like in first person narration.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that like increased the tension, or would you have liked it all in like a third person?
I think that in order for this to be pulled off, we had to be in his head, and we had to be like see like the psychopathic
I agree.
movements,
Yeah.
like pinging around. And not that you can't get into someone's head with third person, close third person. You absolutely can understand a character's intentions, but how Nick quote unquote moved through life, I feel like we needed to experience, because even the way that he described like moving through life, like how he opened doors, how he engaged with people, it was all very like layered and nuanced. And I think that we would have lost a little bit without the first person POV. And in thrillers, usually, or like mysteries, I'm totally fine with a third all around.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like I think that whatever vehicle the author chose to write it in was ultimately the best decision. But I do think that having his in first person specifically gave us an insight to how wackadoodle this man is.
Yes. Yeah. It made me distrust him even more. All right. Quick summary of the book. You ready?
Yep. Let's do this. All right. Rapid fire.
All right. I think it was pretty straightforward compared to other Lisa Jewells that we read.
I will say this was one that I kept waiting for the twist to happen. And this is not a diss to the book. This is a diss to the
No.
marketing and positioning of
Mm-hmm.
this book. And Hannah and I have talked about this before. I think that publishers, marketing, however we're labeling these books, I'm just going to double check real quick. It's labeled as a psychological thriller. Thriller is the main listed genre on Goodreads. It is the first thing that comes up when you Google it. It's listed, let's see where it's listed on like Barnes and Noble. Best pick for mystery thriller suspense under that. Right? So I think personally that did a disservice to this book because
Mm-hmm.
what we described it as, this is 1,000% a domestic suspense novel. This to me is not a thriller. A thriller
Mm-hmm.
is defined by a mysterious twist or a shocking twist that happens. And the way that the timelines were presented and the way that we were presented with these people, it was very, very clear early on that Nick was all of these men.
Yes.
And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that that was written that way for a reason. It was enjoyable. But I think that
Mm-hmm.
when you have the thought that you're going in to read a thriller, you are expecting a twist. So when the
Yeah.
twist did not happen, I was like, okay, this is a positioning problem. This is not like a book problem. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and this is not the first time this has happened with books that we've read. There's been a
Yeah.
lot of ones that are categorized as thrillers, but in my opinion, are far more of a domestic suspense. And again, I get for marketing purposes, but I think that it does the book a disservice by not positioning it correctly. Anyway, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to get off my soapbox. Like I said, I enjoyed it, but again, I wholly believe that this was not a thriller.
Agreed. So, a man named Patty Swan is killed, leaving behind a wife and 3 children. About a year later, Patty's wife Nina starts dating Nick, an old friend of Patty's who reached out after the funeral.
Mhm.
Then Nina's daughter Ash, who's recovering from a mental health crisis and her father's death, is super skeptical of Nick and starts investigating.
Mhm.
And then Martha is frustrated. And all right, I'm pausing the summary here because you guys get the gist. But
Yep.
I just felt so bad for Martha. I think Martha was one of the
So
wives
bad.
that I felt the worst for because I feel like Nina, I'm like, Nina, you can't see through this, right? But like Martha's like has a young child, like she just felt so nice and kind-hearted, and I just
and
felt
like
so bad for her.
she had her floral business. Like it was just, there was something about Martha that really got my heart. And there again, this is a testament to like how well the characterization of Nick was written,
Mm-hmm.
because like these women consistently fell for his stuff. And obviously we are getting his POV. We understand that this man is off his fucking rocker, but they don't see
Yes.
that. And this was a very in-depth look at what gaslighting and manipulation can do to a person.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this was wild. And yeah, to me, Martha definitely got the short end of the stick. Also, though, the woman that he was seeing consistently when he was moonlighting as Andre, the older woman, that
Yeah.
also got to me.
When he stole the money from her,
Yes.
that's when I was like, seriously, dude? Like, she's
Yeah.
like
Like
been
it.
bankrolling you for a while,
Yeah.
and then you're just gonna steal. Like, I was.
Isn't that bad
so
that like
bad.
he did all of this shit and we were like, is there a moral, like is there a ground level to the morality here? And there's
Right?
not. There was not, and we were hopeful.
Mm-mm.
We were hopeful for that ground floor.
I know. And then, I mean, really thinking about like Amanda too, just like disappearing.
Yes. Well, and then
Like,
wasn't it
this man is just horrible.
horrible? And didn't he plot this like they fake your death sort of situation? I can't remember exactly where it is. It was something along those lines where they have this like he literally paid to have his death faked.
Yeah.
But
And then he goes back to see her,
yes.
and she's like, oh my gosh. And then it's like hard because these women like truly loved him, right?
Yes.
I think to a point, because it's like you have to love somebody to be
Yes.
able to continue on with this.
Absolutely.
But then freaking Tara shows up,
Mhm.
one of his old flames, and then she gets murdered.
Murdered.
And Amanda helps hide the body. They're like, all right,
Hides
yeah,
the
we'll
body.
keep this on the secret.
No, this was
I'm done.
cuckoo bananas. And like the way that he wove the plot of like all of his lies together, like he said that he worked in like hotels and like all of this investing, but he would really just like go to these different hotels to meet up with other
Yeah.
women and then like use the money there. And he always had an excuse for everything. Oh my God, when he put the car in her name, and didn't fucking tell her. No. 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 Fuck this man. God, this man sucks. But okay, horrible. You guys get the gist. However, they did John Tucker Must Die him. They did pull
Mm-hmm.
all the women together. They cornered him and they were like, you bitch. Confess to your sins, confess to your crimes. And then he drowned
Yeah.
in the water. And I was like, that fucker's not dead. You're telling me that man's
No.
dead. And also, they had his like sons running in after him to try and rescue their father, which was traumatic.
Yeah.
Traumatic. Then we have Amanda at the end, who helped him hide the Terra body. She originally took Nick back, agreed to help him cover up his crime, but then at the end, when we find out that Nick is not dead, she turned this fucker in.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you. I really think that she had this kind of planned from the get go. I think that there wasn't like a change of heart. I think she just got caught up in a few things and the murder didn't go according to plan, but she always was going to exact her revenge on him in some way. Whether it
Yeah.
was murder herself, which to be honest, I would have preferred.
Yeah, just get it over with.
Just knock him out. However, I respect it. I respect the just way to handle these
She's got
things.
2 sons. She's got to set an example.
You know, and I'm going to read a couple of my lyrics. Better Man is not like a very lengthy, wordy song. So I'm just going to read you basically this whole thing. But it's waiting, watching the clock. It's 4:00. It's got to stop. Tell him, take no more. She practices her speech as he opens the door. And it's this constant, like, I'm going to tell him today. I'm going to leave today. And we even had a few instances of the women saying, this is enough. Tell me where you've been. And this man has an answer and a reason for everything. He has receipts,
Yeah.
proof, timelines, like screenshots. This man has everything
he's prepared.
covered.
He knows.
He is prepared. And first of all, I think that was the most unrealistic part of this, that a man would be that prepared.
Yeah.
Like the way that he kept himself together was quite impressive. But yeah, I just thought this was like the general vibes of the book. And also as we get toward like the tail end and the women are starting to feel the abuse and where things are like teetering on physical and we're getting to that moment and it's talking to herself, there's no one who needs to know, in quotes. She tells herself memories back when she was bold and strong and waiting for the world to come along, swears she knew him, now swears he's gone. Like, this cannot be the man that I married. This cannot be the same person. Like, you've been gaslit so much that you are now gaslighting yourself into believing the lies. Yeah, I thought it was the perfect song to accompany this book.
Yeah, no, I think it's good for sure. For the rest of my lyrics, it's like, I want the easy money, maybe this one time, maybe tonight. And I feel like that's just him like, all right, maybe this next target. And like in one of his POVs, he's like stalking this girl. And like, I just feel like that's just hit like, okay, where is this easy money? Like, yes, he's prepared and he's like, you know, methodical about things, but he also wants like that easiness, right? Like that, how am I going to convince these women that I need their money for investment? Or like, how can I get this money? Like he pretends that he has like a heart condition and he needs money for rehab and all this stuff. And then one of my other lyrics is like, you say I fool myself, but better me than being a fool for someone else. And I feel like that's just like his mindset, right? Like, I'm just gonna like keep fooling these people and you think you know me? No, you don't know me. And then later in the song, it's like, something's gotta pay off. Someone's gotta break. Someone's got a fortune they're begging me to take. And I feel
It's
like that's
a perfect
also
choice.
Nick. It's just like, all right. And like the song itself is like very much like, to me, like interpreting like gambling. And I'm just like, I'm not going to tell my wife, like, let's go to the racetracks. Let's go here. Let's find that easy money. And I just feel like that's Nick in the back of his mind. Like, how am I going to get this next thousands?
And my quote actually kind of goes along with that, though I have one quote in here because this was a wild ride, you guys. And it's why I work so hard to maintain my charming exterior because my interior is a chaotic hellscape beyond anyone's possible imaginings. And that is so important why we got his first person POV.
Yep. And my quote is, I don't understand why men don't realize how little effort is involved in making women happy and how many benefits there are to making women happy.
Oh, what a sleazeball.
It doesn't take much, but
it doesn't. But from him,
yeah.
All right. Well, that was Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell.
Yes. Don't let him in. Don't let any of them in.
Don't let him in.
None of his 7 alter egos. Do not. But thank you so much for letting us in and turning the pages with us this week. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, and join our newsletter this year to keep up with everything on the other side of the page.
Yes, and please, please, please drop a review and a 5-star rating of the podcast on your preferred platform and share it with your bookish besties.
Next week, we will be giving you our thoughts on The People We Meet on Vacation movie.
Oh my God, you guys, I'm so excited. And also, I'm going to fight all of y'all who didn't like Alex and Poppy, and now you like Alex and Poppy after the movie, because I love Alex and Poppy. Hannah.
I never
Hannah.
said I didn't like them.
Hannah.
They're my least favorite.
And
there's changes.
Hannah's favorite was my least favorite. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. It's going to balance. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. When Happy Place comes out, yes. I will eat my words.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Perhaps. We'll see. But forever and always.
Keep reading with kindness.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Was there anything else you needed to add?
No.
Okay, cool.